What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're doing another quick install video for your S2 Elise or Exige. Today we're going to be putting in an NRG quick release hub and steering wheel. If you're a taller driver, this is going to make getting in and out of the car significantly better. And also this awesome flat bottom carbon fiber wheel from NRG just looks really awesome. It's way better than the factory wheel. As always, all of these parts come from our friends over at GRP. If you order from them, he's going to make sure that you get everything you need to have a seamless install right out of the box. Now, if you've never done an aftermarket steering wheel install before, you could be a bit overwhelmed by all of the universal parts that come in these kits. One example of that is its ground retainer ring. We're not going to be using that. Will also come with some various wires and things that you may or may not use depending on your application. So let's look at exactly what we need to put this into the Lotus. First off, of course, we need the aftermarket wheel. We need the male and female hub adapters. We need the horn retainer ring, the Lotus specific hub adapter. Luckily, NRG provides all of the correct hardware and Allen keys to go along with these. If you order from GRP, you will also receive a resistor to get rid of the pesky airbag light on your dash. The only tools you're going to need for this install is a T40, that's if you're removing your hardtop. You'll need a 10mm to remove the battery. And you will need a 5mm Allen. Step number 1, using your 10mm, disconnect the battery. It's always good practice to disconnect the battery anytime you're working on the car, and doing so ensures that while you're removing the airbag, there's no chance of it accidentally going off. Step number 2, remove your hard or soft top. This will give you quite a bit more maneuverability while you're doing this install, and you'll definitely appreciate the extra space while you're working in and out of the car. Step number 3, make sure your steering wheel is totally straight. After that, you'll notice 2 bolts, one on either side of your steering column. Using your 5mm Allen, remove both of these. These 2 bolts are the only things holding in the center airbag cover on your steering wheel. Once both of those bolts have been removed, the unit will be loose. However, before it can be removed, you'll notice a single plug behind the airbag. Simply unclip this, and the entire unit will come out in one piece. Step number 4, with the airbag removed, you're going to see a center nut, 4 5mm Allen bolts, as well as a wire harness clip. Now, for most applications, you're going to remove that center nut to pull the steering wheel. However, the Lotus is a bit different. Simply remove the 4 5mm Allen bolts that go around the center nut, disconnect the wire harness clip, and then the steering wheel is going to be free to be removed. Now, here is an optional step if you plan on keeping your horn functional. You'll notice that the Lotus has a single plug which houses both the positive and the negative leads going to both horn buttons on the original steering wheel. Now, in order to keep your horn functional, you'll need to snip those wires and then splice them into both leads on the male adapter of your quick release. Step number 5, we're now back inside of the car. Take your Lotus specific hub adapter, thread the wire harness through the center, make sure the NRG logo is facing up, and then use the supplied hardware to bolt it down. For some added peace of mind, we are using a little bit of Loctite on each of these bolts. The last thing we want to happen is any part of that system to get loose or come all the way off while we're either on the autocross course or simply driving down the street. Step number 6, it's time to install the male end of our quick release. Again, we are using a little bit of Loctite on each of the bolts, and while the holes do line up pretty naturally, you do want to ensure that the NRG logo is facing up and lining up with the NRG logo on the hub adapter. Step number 7, this is our final step, however it does have a few parts. The first thing you want to do is take the female end of your quick release and snap it onto the male end. Next, you're going to install your horn button retainer ring into the center of the hub. Now, this can be a tight fit, so you might need to work and finesse it just a little bit to make it go all the way in. And finally, it's time to bolt down your steering wheel. Take the horn button and the provided ring and set it into the center of the wheel. Take your steering wheel and line it up with your hub. Make sure everything is facing up and lined up properly. Then take the 6 Allen head bolts, sink all of those in all the way around. Make sure everything is tight and secure, and then you are good to go. The main benefit of having a quick release installed in your Lotus is obviously the convenience of getting in and out of the vehicle without having a steering wheel in the way. Whenever you get in, the steering wheel simply snaps onto the hub. However, it's very secure and it won't be going anywhere while you're driving. When it's time to exit, the wheel is easily removed, allowing you to set it off to the side and get out of the vehicle without hitting your knees on it on the way out. One of the biggest complaints amongst Lotus owners has always been how difficult it is to get in and out of the car. If you have that problem, this modification definitely helps, plus the wheel just looks so good. And just like that, your quick release steering wheel is installed. If you do it like we did in the video and you're not worrying about the resistor or getting the horn to work, that should take you maybe 30 minutes. If you're going to do those two things, I would allot just an hour to make sure that you're not stressed trying to get everything done really quickly. It looks way better than the original wheel, and it also helps getting in and out of the car so much, especially if you're above 6 feet. You're going to get in and out of the car much easier with this mod. I hope you got a little bit of use out of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.